That's what it starts out. What is going on, guys? This is the first episode of No Waifu, No Laifu podcast featuring Ben.
And I'm Josh, but let's just be honest, this isn't the first episode.
No, this isn't the first episode.
Let's be honest, there were some complications last week.
Yeah.
Today's Sunday, as I look at my computer, the 8th of April, to go down in the history books. But as of last week, on Saturday, we were recording. We got about 30 minutes in.
It was a good episode too.
It was good for a first episode, and my computer died. And as I went to go search through my backpack,
Drum roll, please.
I noticed that there was no charger to be able to revive my poor computer, and the chargers you had were not strong enough to bring it back. So
yes,
here we are, and I think it was a good thing that we waited a little bit. Mainly because it was going to be right in between the new season coming out.
Yeah,
a lot
dropping.
of good new shows coming out.
A lot of new episodes.
The main one obviously is going to be My Hero. We'll talk about that later because there was one that was a little bit closer to what we want to talk about, which is going to be My Darling. Some stuff happened out of episode 13, so just to let you guys know, this will be spoilery. We're going to go ahead and just talk about it. We're mainly going to talk about episode 13 and just kind of everything leading up to it. If you haven't been watching it, just go ahead and turn this off now. Go watch it.
Go watch it. I'm judging you already for not.
Go watch it. Come back and listen to us then, because be doing a disservice. It is kind of odd in the beginning, but definitely now 13 episodes in, like
it is.
You're completely interested in what's happening. Needless to say.
Yeah, you're.
So let's go ahead and get it started off, right? So we have little Oni 02 in her infant face. Etu. Dude, I swear to God, I was like, no way, dude. Like, she doesn't know how to talk at all. And I still want to know how she learns to talk, right?
Because obviously there's backplotting development that we need.
Gap.
Yes, very huge gap.
They just inject it into her. Some shit like that. Like, I don't understand. Like, they just insert the Japanese language into her or something. It's weird. But basically in episode 13 we see I'm just going to call it the origin story of these two. Because we were left off with episode 12 with 02 basically sucking the life out of Hero.
She's basically about to end Hero at this point.
Yeah, so she can become human, and she makes a reference to the original Darling, the OG Darling, which at the time we didn't know.
Which, I kind of had a feeling. Someone who's been watching a long time, I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't know. It
was definitely, because there's 24 episodes in this season.
24 episodes in this season.
We're at 12. Obviously, unless they had this completely different plan to flip it upside down, kill off one of the main characters.
Which, by God, it better not happen. No, it better not happen.
We already shipped them off, right? And then they started getting as 02 started to not want the tests or whatever. Obviously, she started to grow her fingernails, and her horns started to get larger, and she started to get more
radical.
Yeah,
radical.
A lot more ornery towards really just kind of centering on her goal that she had pretty much, I'm going to guess, the entire time that they were partners, darlings, I guess. But yeah, this she was choking him out, pretty much sucking the life out of him. Which, when we look back at episode 13, we see that 02 is still in the same, like, just hunched down position, doggy style position, whatever it is. Ooh. And it's like a spirit coming back and choking him out.
Right, that big red spirit
and so there's no explanation for that. I'm still very, very, very interested in what in the world that was.
There's another thing with episode 2 with, like, when her mom came in, I'm waving my quotations, then this being just poofs and vanishes. What was that? Yeah, we have no idea what this. Is this some different energy world thing going on? What's going on with this?
It's definitely, it goes back into us not really knowing a lot about the world, which is one of the qualms that I've seen a lot of people talk about. And it's been one of the things that I haven't, it's one of my least liked aspects of the shows.
Right.
Is that, okay, it's post-apocalyptic cool. Apparently, from what I've seen, that's been in every Gundam or style mech show, whatever.
It's very mech style.
Post-apocalyptic, it looks like we're on Mars. Though we did see when they went to the beach that they did come across a town.
Right, and there was a house people lived in. So we get an idea it's still on Earth.
Yeah, and then we
know of anyway.
Yeah, and then we went to see that there was this underground city that all the quote unquote adults lived in, and the kids, they have them set in these. I guess by then you could kind of call them old school setups, right? They're just in the normal everyday houses that you'd see now,
right.
Kind of dormitories. They had to split up on the boys and girls. But back to episode 13, it was definitely something that needed to happen because there was a lot of talk like, okay, this is, we kind of need to know more about something instead of there just being a divide between the boys and the girls and then them coming together. Now, the past couple episodes, we've gone down actually into the city that's underground. We got to look into one of the lives of the adults who's keeping her husband alive through a machine that sends happiness through, and then he
emulating emotions, which was kind of, it's throwing something weird. Like, I want to know more of that side of what's going on. Like, why are they having kids protect them? Yeah, and also with, I forget his name, but probably the most solid couple out of everything. The two very spunky children, though I don't know why I cannot remember their name. It's the red. Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. Because they obviously that kid who got lost. They obviously had a connection with the adult. So, just seems like they're just churning out kids to protect them, and that's their mission. But there has to be something, especially when you look at what 02 actually is, and them doing experiments. Dr. FranXX, however you say it, I've heard it said a couple of, like FranXX, I think I've heard it called. The double X is weird, but when they're doing the tests on her when she was a kid that we saw in episode 13,
which was quite gruesome.
Yeah,
you put this in place, like they're doing this to children.
Yeah, and even though she's not human, half and half, as she says. Apparently she was the one out of all of that they've done that has taken the most human form. Right. Even though with the horns and everything and the obvious teeth or whatever. But yeah, she can auto regenerate because they blow a hole through her hand
and it just immediately just heals back up.
Jesus Christ. It's it was crazy. It was tough to watch, but we also see that Hiro breaks her out. And they cling to this book, which has one thing, obviously with this last episode, it gives us a lot of hope for the future.
Yes.
But then when you look at what the book was saying that 02 was given and that she just looked at the pictures, it tells a different story. So just saying the beast and the prince, and you can't hide. Basically, what it says is you can't hide that you're a beast, referring to 02, because you'll always be a monster. And
that the monster will basically devour the prince.
Yes, and so it could kind of see going that way. Before this episode even happened, because it was in the process of happening. It was already but now there's this connection between them because now they both remember, obviously. Right. Somehow. I don't know. Again, it might have just taken...
I think it's an emotional thing. I think what maybe it's laying out is, this story that they give is supposed to be the backstory, like the monster destroys the prince, but maybe through love they defend all odds, typical love story.
I mean, it'll probably be something like that. They have to, more than likely... They're going to have to figure out, especially in this season, because if we don't figure out what the hell's going on during this season, what the kids are mainly there for, where the kids go.
This is right. I mean, we're 13 episodes in, and we don't know anything about the actual story. We're still catching up, which is kind of crazy.
It's very centered around individual character stories, which is fine and dandy. And one thing, it really lets you get involved with the characters. Obviously, the connection seeing 02 as a kid.
Adorable.
And we see that, Hiro was given all the kids their names. Story we already know, but we actually
and then he gets in trouble. My thing is with the whole questioning, and they keep talking about he asked all these questions. Why is that an issue? And then they were saying basically they wanted to put him down for being defiant against them. Yeah. But Dr. FranXX was like, no, I want to see what someone like this could do as a parasite. So what is that about?
It's definitely, again, with the codes. So he is 16.
He's 16.
So the teens are the elite breed of these kids, and so he's definitely a lot smarter.
Right.
A lot more aware of what's happening to everybody else. As he says, nobody else really asks any questions. They just kind of sit and wonder, and then they move on and hope they're not next. But he's definitely aware, especially as a kid. And it's kind of odd that we don't see him with these questions now.
Right.
So far in the show, he's been pretty chill with just how everything is going.
And accepting and just doing his thing, trying to be a parasite.
Especially once he finds 02 and he's able to pilot. Because before, he was going to get shipped off and he was more than likely going to die. Or wherever they go, another unanswered question.
I think with every episode, we get new questions that get unanswered. At least 5 new questions.
Yeah, and I guess that's why there's 24 episodes. I'm just hoping that they can eventually
bring it all together, because it's a very wide open thing going on right now.
There's just too many unanswered questions with the upper management of this. We know a lot about the kids. 02, we still don't know a ton about. But
especially how does she have the Klaxor blood in her? How is she half of it? Is that something Dr. FranXX did, or was there some weird mating process? We don't know anything of where she came from,
and the motives behind creating her. I mean, it just has to be to ultimately fight back against the Klaxors, I'm guessing. Right. Other than that, there's some selfish thing that is driving him maybe to do this. Still don't know that answer
definitely
at all.
The evil doctor complex.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. Just how the breeding of the kids and everything is done. But as we see towards the end of the episode, they end up getting captured, right? And then, as I'm guessing, the older 02's talking in this, saying that he was the one. Obviously, we see now that Hiro was the original darling,
the OG darling,
and then they look back at each other and they realize it, and then bam, cliffhanger once again. What
a horrible end! It was great, but for us, you gotta wait a week now.
A whole week to figure out what is gonna happen, and then it might not even be fleshed out at all. It's definitely, when I first started the show, I started it binging the first 6 episodes because they were the only ones that were out. You've just binged them, less than a week?
So? I think 4 or 5 days ago, because there was 12 episodes.
Yeah, it's there's just a lot more to be done. Hopefully, I'm hoping that I'm not saying that I hope that they close it up at the end of the season, because if it keeps going on this upward trend, starting from 13, okay, this is a series now, which is what I've gathered from everybody online. Okay, this is a series now. This is real. This is not just some kids in the doggy position, fighting against these monsters anymore. This is an actual
character development. We're diving into this deep, crazy ass storyline.
This is something that it just doesn't end with that was a cool episode. Now it's more of, okay, I have to know what happens next. I have to know what happens
pulling
next.
You in.
I need to know now. And if it keeps going like this more and more,
oh man,
they might have to make another season. But if they wrap it up now, that would be fine. I wouldn't be too surprised.
I definitely, honestly, with 22 episodes, I would be pleased.
Mm-hmm. And they've, again, Trigger is the studio that made it, and so they made Kill la Kill, which I think, I haven't fully watched it, but it wrapped up pretty much. But yeah, if you guys haven't made it, or if you have made it to this far in the episode and you haven't watched Darling in the Franxx at all, I don't think we've talked about too very much on the show. So I would definitely, just the visuals alone, the cinematography of the entire thing, with the cutouts of cutting out most of the screen, and going into these smaller shots with the bottom and the top. I know there's a a word for that I do not know. And having these outside quotes or whatever, and the analogy with the bird, right? The bird that needs the other bird in order, the male and the female.
The male and the female both to fly and be one. They have to be together.
And it's basically
analogy of
to the
Hero and Zero Two, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's definitely a good show. Definitely looking forward to. We're definitely going to be talking about this more. It'll be a lot shorter next week of the talking because
definitely
we've caught up on everything. The theories, at least for me, I'm going to go ahead and place my bets in that they're going to try to break out.
Oh, definitely. I was going to say the same thing.
Like the entire team, because obviously what we've seen from other teams. They're very all the same. They have all the same FranXX. They look the same. They do the same things. They're drilled. And then you have this group, which
are the oddballs.
Just everything's different. They have these weird personalities. They were allowed to go through puberty by themselves. It's whatever. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see. And if they do break out, like, where are they going to go? Because, this is where they...
All we know is the plantation.
This is all they've been. And we've only seen that one plantation.
Yeah, I was going to say that plantation. Well, we did see the other one. They did the connecting.
Mm.
We didn't see inside it, but we see that there is more.
And there's also the fact that when like Papa and then the other 5 guys, I think there's 6 in total. If I remember right.
If that's correct.
We saw at the ceremony from the team with Hiro and Ichigo, the main team that we're following, that they're just holograms, right? So they're broadcasting from somewhere. So they're either very far away doing this, or they're in that cryostasis, not really cryostasis, but they're not conscious physically.
Right.
Their minds are basically just being uploaded to this state of this hologram.
I get what you're saying as kind of where you see that the male and the female, he's downloading his happiness, basically. Mm-hmm. Something of that sort.
Yeah. So, there's enough technology, and there's a pretty good chance that the people who are running this thing aren't technically alive.
Probably technology keeping their brains running.
Yeah, and you have Dr. FranXX cyberpunk-looking ass, whatever, with his half-metal face and a horn, which I saw one person post up, did anybody see this horn that Dr. FranXX had on? I
honestly have not noticed that.
He's got a horn on the metal side of his face, and everybody was like, look at this, and there was like, it's been in the series the whole time. Okay, so it's probably not that big of a meaning that it showed up in this episode. But yeah, so another big show, obviously, if you're anywhere within anime, you know of this show.
If you don't, shame on me.
My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia, if you're the one of Japan, from the Japan.
Yeah, we don't want anyone correcting us on this, all right? We know the right names.
We know. You say it, whatever. It's fine. So, Season 3 started. Season 3, Episode 1, the swimming episode.
Always a swimming episode.
Not too many... Not much happened. It's a straight recap.
It was a good recap, though. Yeah. In a way, an emotional recap that kind of kept you in tune with what's going on.
Yeah, it definitely helped out that the entire show is just straight up fire. You have all these awesome moments to look back on. The Todoroki fight, the hero killer fight.
The Nomu.
Yeah, it's all the characters. There's so many characters that get fleshed out that it's just insane. Like, especially during the tournament arc.
Oh right.
Like it obviously is a perfect time to flesh out the characters that you need. And there was a good 6 to 8 of them that got people have emotional attachments with now.
Definitely,
which is always nice. But on this one. We're just reiterating the fact that Deku wants to be the greatest superhero. He wants to live up to All Might's potential. Bakugo's still an ass, and Todoroki's still silently sitting back with the same goal as Deku. And then you have Ida being the class rep.
Which Ida kind of, to me, I noticed with this episode, they're kind of putting him on the back burner now. He's kind of like, he's not as much in the limelight of main character phrase. Mm. He's now just a typical supporting character. Yeah,
he's probably back on the same tier as Ochiko.
Right.
Because I never felt like she was too high up there. It was her and Froppy, obviously the two big girls who were on the show.
Right.
But they never really had that big of an impact. Obviously, supporting characters, the top three being Todoroki, Bakugo, and Deku. And then I guess you could throw in All Might's obviously
he's like the center of the show.
But even with that, I mean, we still don't have much backstory on him.
You are right. Else knows. We haven't seen much on him. I mean, other than what we've seen, but we haven't seen like how he started, other than the big video that Deku watches all the time.
Yeah, and Todoroki watched too, which was cool. And I think they had it where I'm sure Bakugo's watched it too. But did you see the poster for, or no, it was the trailer for the My Hero Academia movie that's coming out?
I didn't.
It shows All Might's eyes. Oh, and it's terrifying.
That's right. You sent me that. It's like a younger All Might. Yeah, like in the start.
He just looks back and it's like, you guys, this does not look good right now. I'm not used to this at all. It looks very weird. Him actually having full eyes instead of his sunken in with a small blue pupil laying in there. But yeah, I mean, there's not much else we can really talk about with My Hero Academia. It was definitely, I mean, it was a needed episode, I guess. It's not like they took that big of a time off, but I mean, they have, 24 episodes?
24, and I mean, a lot has happened. So I guess maybe they're doing this because maybe the next episode something big's going to happen that revolves with all of that. Mm-hmm. You know, you never know.
It's also a good point, like if somebody's never watched the show. I mean, I think you kind of get the gist of what's happening.
You could come in on that episode and then watch season 3, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, but it was a good outline to know the story if you don't want to go back and watch it, which who would do that? But
yeah, the main point of it is that you miss the progression of Deku going from just throwing one big punch to throwing a couple small punches to going the full
5%, like controlling his 5% of his power, and he's already becoming a badass.
Yeah, and
actually at 5%.
Yeah, and then you have the opening for it, which was kind of the music on it. I'm still like I can get down to it now. There's a lot of low points in it that I kind of wish there was more of a rocky vibe.
I'm definitely used to the more fighter type rocky, more metal intros, and that was like complete left field. Wasn't ready for it.
It's just hard auto tune.
Visually,
a couple of those.
The opening was awesome visually.
Yeah, anytime you see like Deku and All Might going Super Saiyan, it's nice. That's basically what they were doing. But yeah, I mean the visuals on it just continue to be top tier. Just beautiful to look at. From what I've heard, it's shot by shot of the manga, so I mean it does it pretty well. So I mean obviously My Hero Academia, we're going to see good stuff happening, and I mean if they keep going off where they were at season 2, I mean it's just going to be more My Hero Academia, which is a bad thing to say at all.
There's nothing going to be wrong with this season. I don't think it's, as we talked many times, it's the big one. Yeah. It's the one that anybody is going to like. Mm-hmm. It's the next, I guess, Dragon Ball Z, or you all know the big ones.
Just Shonen throwing stuff out. Because you have that in Black Clover, which we're not going to talk about mainly on here because I'm the only one who's watched it. But comparing like this to Black Clover, I mean, it's pretty much the same story.
Right.
A kid grows up not having any power in a powerful world. In the case of Black Clover, it's magic.
Okay.
And this kid doesn't have magic. And then probably 2-3 episodes in, he gets this thing that's anti-magic, which is an interesting dynamic, but he just screams way too much. The story moves way too slowly, and you have to reiterate everything about the world. Magic is everything in this world, says every character to Asta, the main character.
Honestly, you're already rubbing me away from it.
Like, I'm going to keep watching it because there's 51 episodes. Which they have it planned for 51 episodes. It's about, I think it's 24, 25, something like that. I remember just grinding it out one day just to kind of catch up. But now watching it week to week, like, the last 2 weeks I let them build up because I was just...
It's kind of losing you a little bit, isn't it?
I was like, I kind of don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
And it's not really moving very fast. In the manga, at least, the first like 5 episodes of the show covers the first like 3 chapters of the manga.
Right.
And it's like, are you serious? We're going through so many times, so much of Asta yelling, so much of him reiterating that he basically sucks. Even, you know, his orphan father says like, oh, you're not as good as your brother, but whatever, cool. You know, just go scream and then go hit on the sister. This sister, because they live in a church. And this sister there, she is, you know, obviously a lot older than he is.
Right.
And he keeps asking her to marry her, and she then pile drives him into the ground repeatedly, which I think is child abuse. But going from the opposite route of child abuse, we want to talk about our little Takagi-san, Karakai Jozou no Takagi-san, or
as we always say, Takagi-san.
Takagi-san, or if you're from America, skilled teaser Takagi-san. Which the manga is coming out, the English version of it.
English version.
In July. I have it pre-ordered.
Of course.
And there's going to be an OVA coming out for it.
Awesome.
It's supposed to be coming out the same time as the manga. But we'll see. This show was definitely one that, now that I went back and looked at a lot of people's reactions to it at first, they didn't think it was going to be very much. It's definitely a show that if you grind it out all in one sitting, if you don't like the repetitiveness of it, it'll probably sour your taste. But taking it week to week, it was one of my favorite shows of this season, for sure.
See, you called it as it was going.
Yeah.
I called it in the end. And I'm not going to lie, it took me till about episode 6 to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because it was just really repetitive. I struggle with liking the male character who is just like,
Very, very just oblivious to the entire situation. Not knowing that he has this girl basically in his hands, but really in the whole situation, she has him in her hands, which is definitely a turn of events for a show like this. But basically, the show is just all about Nishikata and Takagi. They're in the same middle school class, and they're teasing each other, or at least
Takagi-san is ridiculing this poor young man,
and he is trying his damnness to get back at her.
One time.
He gets her back one time. Well, would you count the last episode as a critical hit?
We'll give it to him. We'll give the poor man it to him.
She was, I want to guess I don't know if she was shook at the end, but she was definitely...
He caught her off guard.
Yeah, she was definitely off guard. There's the second to last episode where he let it slip, where he just wanted to walk home with her. And
then that's when she was like blushing.
And then she officially blushed and like had to calm herself down. It was just like...
And of course he misses it. I'm like, boy, you just got her good.
He just ran away because he thought he was going to get turned on. Like that was going to be it. Because she held herself at first. Saying like, okay.
When that happened, I was like, "Oh man, what's about to go down?"
I was like, "I'll forget it if you say it again." And he's just like, "Why would I? Why would I?" That part was hilarious. There's so many little funny parts of the show. Definitely, if you're into slice of life, for sure, give it a watch. Definitely give it a little bit of time at least, because, like I said, it's repetitive. They do about the same things until probably the last 3 or 4 episodes.
And like I said, it took me 6 episodes. And I love it to death now.
Yeah.
But like for some people, just power through it. At least just power through it.
It's definitely very emotional when you go and watch this and then you go and read the manga.
Now we're going to talk about that. This is just one chapter you need to read.
Just one chapter, and then you can go read the spinoff or whatever that continues Takagi-san's reign. Just happens to be over a different person for most of the time in the manga.
Right.
But yeah, definitely chapter 1 where we fast forward to Takagi-san and her daughter, which, I mean, you can insinuate, right? But it's just really cool to see it actually happen with it. Nishikata obviously comes home, and then their name is at is outside the door, which is just the pinnacle of that. It's crazy that happened right in the middle, basically.
I know that was for anyone wanting to know, that was chapter 31. Mm-hmm. If I'm correct, that should be it.
Yeah, 31.
You better read it, because like it even if you're watching it halfway through, like Josh told me about it, and I think I was almost done, and it didn't ruin anything. It just like what you were hoping for the whole time with the series. It gives you that satisfaction.
It's like it happened. Wow, like this. And see, it made me emo. It made me emo because I was like, damn, they're like this, and then they have all of these good memories to look back during this entire thing. It was like, wow, we were just kids, huh?
Like when she has the yearbook and she tears up and like she's looking at the picture and just reminiscing. Like I was like on the verge.
It was tough.
Of tears.
It was tough. It's definitely something I was like, damn, dude, I want a Takagi-san. Where's she at? It's like, oh yeah, I'm not in middle school anymore. It can't happen.
Now you're regretting your whole childhood.
It's over. It's over.
It's over.
But yeah, definitely give it a watch if you haven't. But going on to something a little bit less innocent.
And which this is how actually Josh got me on to Takagi-san, because this next one, as we will say, is citrus.
Yeah.
Edgy.
It is very edgy. It was awkward at first.
I mean, you've got a line where hentai is, and it's red line, and it's popping that line.
It's so close. Like, if there weren't for a couple of eloquently placed hairs, or the group of them falling on the parts that matter.
Right.
In a couple of scenes.
We still got silhouettes, though.
Yeah, it was silhouettes. Part of this, the main reason why I enjoyed the show for what I did, it wasn't those scenes at all. It was at the beginning when they're trying to figure out what they were for the most part, right? So, Citrus is based around this girl, Yuzu, who her mom gets remarried, and they have to relocate, so she has to go to a different school. She comes to find out. Or no, she knows, she just doesn't tell any of her friends that she's going to an all-girls school. Right. And immediately the first day she shows up, not wearing black hair, wearing all the makeup she can and wearing different clothes. And
short skirt, open top, her hair all bunched up weird. Like, obviously, the weirdest character in the school, for what the school is.
Yeah.
And then we meet May.
May.
Oh, my May.
She comes up and just fills Yuzo up.
Basically, it's a whole hand of underregion.
I saw that and I was like, this is starting off very quickly. I don't understand what we're doing.
I remember I'm watching this, and I can't remember which one of us started watching it first. I watched it, and I was like, whoa. And I had to text you and be like, this is pretty edgy.
It's like, why is it happening so quickly? Like, we don't even know each other. What was the point of this? But as we see going on that, there's May's obviously very shut in. She's very calloused by things that have happened. Obviously,
she was messed up.
Yeah, her dad kind of just said, screw it, went off. He's going and traveling the world. She was set up to marry a dude at the very beginning, which didn't last very long.
Yeah, he kind of got shoved. I forgot about him until you brought him up. Like, he just got shoved out.
It was literally probably the first episode that it happened.
I've totally forgot about him.
Yeah.
That's bad because there's only 12 episodes.
Yeah. It was just that unimportant, I guess. Because, it just showed them kissing, or him kissing her behind the school, and then Yuzu saw it and then confronting her about it.
That's when we got the first kiss.
Yeah. And it was
She's trying to shut her up.
It was just to shut her up. Like, you don't get the first consensual kiss until probably more than halfway
More
through.
than half easy.
And it was, when that happened, I was like, wow, it happened. They both agreed upon it, and it happened. It wasn't just one person's feelings.
And now, May's trying to sleep with her. Why is she pushing her away now? What is going on?
Yeah, it's definitely a roller coaster. I didn't understand the Christmas scene at all when May came upon her, right, at the end. And then
Right. I had to recollect on that for a second.
And then Yuzu was just like, no, I don't.
And it's like, you've been wanting this. What are you doing?
He's like, you're my sister. No, and I'm like, what do you mean? I don't understand. There must have been like a translation issue or something there because it wasn't fully fleshed out at all. At least to me, why exactly?
What her issue with it was, because she'd been chasing her this whole time.
Yeah. And
then now she's pushing her away once she gets her.
Yeah.
And I don't know on that. I've been thinking about that with you. It's just kind of weird.
It was an okay show so far. I think they're more than likely going to do a second.
They have to.
I know it hasn't been getting the best ratings. I think it fell below a 7 on.
I think that's because of the edginess. Because a lot of people get weirded out by that.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of rapey, and especially from May. May's very rapey in the beginning, mainly to shut up Yuzu, but maybe to make her not want her, but that was what what usually wanted the entire time.
Right.
So it was kind of contradictory. But then the show just goes back and forth of like, I like you, then I don't like you. Then
Insert
I like you.
Side character trying to bring one character away.
Yeah.
Very typical, but it was good. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a fun watch. I read probably 2 or 3 chapters of the manga after that, just to kind of see where it was going. And I mean, some interesting stuff happens. I stopped reading right before one big thing was happening. So I'm hoping I get to see it. But it's definitely something that could make or break this show as it is. Because there could be some arrangements on where people go to school, which is obviously a big thing because the whole thing is centered around them meeting at the school.
Right.
So it's definitely not for everybody, but it was a good watch, and we'll hopefully get a next season somewhere next year maybe.
Yeah, the next season coming, even the newest one.
Yeah,
we're already hoping for things already.
Yeah, but we're gonna go to a little flashback. Well, at least for everybody else here who's probably watched a little bit of anime, but
right.
I want to tell you a story.
Oh.
About a day that I was scrolling through Netflix. I was scrolling through Netflix to see, basically going through not watching anything in particular, but just adding stuff to my list.
Just one of those like, oh, this might look good. Let me throw this in my queue, or this. Let me go look on Mal for a minute.
This was right after I decided that, Slice of Life is going to be what I watch.
Which I'm so happy to hear this.
And so as I was scrolling through the title and the description, and then obviously the cover art caught my eye. It was Your Lie in April. And I was like, okay, we'll see what this is. This looks pretty cool. Put it in the list, and then probably a couple days after that, I watched the first 5 or 6 episodes, and I was like, okay.
What is going on here?
This is a very beautiful show.
Oh.
There's so many, it's said, obviously, April, it's in spring. You have the cherry blossom, so that's very emphasized. But it's definitely a dark show.
Very dark.
Right from the get go, you have Kosei, who is our main character, a great pianist at one time, but is now
phenomenal pianist.
Lost his hearing for the keys that he plays, mainly all due to his mother dying, which was the same mother that physically and mentally abused him
to be this pianist. We're talking beating, blood.
Yeah. It was ostracizing him from playing with his friends, etc., etc.
Had no life. Piano was life.
No life but piano. He was the human metronome, as most of the
citizens.
References made to him within the musical community within the show. But it was definitely one that I didn't expect to get in deep, because obviously it was just a new show. Didn't know anything about it, so just hopped into it. But when we start getting into Kaori, I didn't expect it until probably halfway through. And then once you get halfway through, the first time she falls or some shit.
Right.
No, it was actually because her parents own a bakery. And then when they showed her going back to her house, and I saw the railings on there like it was a fucking hospital, I was like, you better not do this to me. You better not do this to me. I'm not going to be able to deal with this. I cannot do this. Not with the music that's playing, and not with the emotions that are flowing.
And it's a story unfolding.
Yes.
And with me, I got into this after the fact. I was having to hear Josh here through text. All this emotional roller coaster. By episode 3, had it figured out.
Yeah.
Maybe you might as well, as I've been watching almost 20 years of anime. Yeah. And you might figure, you once you know, or you feel like you know, you're right. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to actually, unless we go later on, spoil it, but I'm not going to say it right now. But
yeah. No, I mean, you can pretty much figure out what's going to happen, but going into it knowing, once she goes, because we're going to go deep into it. So if you haven't watched the show at all, go and watch it.
Yeah, you better stop it now.
It's totally worth it.
I do not want to ruin this for you, because, Jesus, what a beautiful anime. What a beautiful anime.
But when she goes into, when they're supposed to play the gala concert, right?
Right.
She doesn't show up. and we don't figure it out till like an episode or so later that she has had some sort of attack, which is another thing with Kosei's mom and then Kaori. We don't know what's wrong with them. They're just sick.
Yeah.
Probably they look like it's. I don't know. It's from the same thing.
Yeah, like we never find out what she had.
Yeah. No.
Thinking back on it and his mother either, but they both ended up in wheelchairs. Mm-hmm. Couldn't walk. Yeah. So it had to have been something similar.
Just slowly deteriorating. That was another thing that they just didn't say what it was. Maybe because to kind of keep the suspense of it, because like if they go and define it, right, you could just go and look, okay, what's the success rate of this, making it through?
You're right.
And you could see
somebody could cheat.
Yeah, you could say like, okay, well, there's a good chance she could make it through here. This isn't as bad. Or they see the disease and it's like, okay, she's done. Like, she's
right.
This age.
I did not think about that.
And everything, because it makes a lot more sense that way. But either way, like you could probably be told that Kaori was going to die at the very beginning, and you would still cry at the very end.
And the way the ending was done. Yeah. Oh my God. Because like, once I figured it out, I was kind of like, I think I was 2 episodes away. I was on 20, 21. I was like, I don't know if I want to finish this. Yeah. I don't want to watch her die. Like what's going to happen to Kosei? Like, is he just going to give up? I don't want to watch him give up. He's finally blossomed. But then it happens. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm so glad that I pushed through this.
It was tough because I remember finishing it. I binged it probably in a couple of days. All 22 episodes, and after it was done,
poor man.
I just sat there for probably a good 2.5, 3 hours, just kind of contemplating what I just saw and bawling in between because it was terrible. Like I felt so bad the rest of that day. Like it was haunting me. The rest of that day, just thinking about it. The quotes in the show, thinking back to it, will make you tear up every time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right? It was just like, whenever I think about, I'll just be sitting there, like at work or something, right? I'm sitting there and I just hear, you're looking down again. It's just like, especially at the end, right? So,
right.
When he's just goes balls out at the competition, right?
Oh, right.
Because he's not playing for himself.
He's playing for her.
Yeah.
And then he sees her.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then we know what happened.
Because he wanted to play with her one time.
Oh, dude, you gotta stop. I'm gonna cry right now.
One more time. And then when you go into, after everything happens, and obviously he's overcome everything that he's been through since his parents, or his mom has died, which was weird. Going back to his parents, like, his dad never showed up. We never
once saw his dad.
This show spanned over a year.
Right.
Or no, right up under a year.
We'll call it a year.
And at the very beginning, he's like, yeah, he goes up on trips for a couple months at a time.
But we never once see him.
He never comes home. Kosei lives by himself. He lives next to his friend, Tsubaka, which creates the love triangle that I guess we can insinuate at the very end that they end up staying together, probably romantically, more than likely.
And for all you correcting nerds, that was Tsubaki.
Tsubaki. I say Tsubaka?
Yeah, you said Tsubaka.
Tsubaka.
I just didn't want him to jump on you online, How ruthless they can be.
I make mistakes.
He is still new to this,
Leave
okay?
me alone. I know Japan. I'm from America.
Me too, America.
But it's the show and the letter at the very end.
Oh God!
Like that entire thing.
The "I love you" hit me so hard
when she says it over and over and over. I was like, oh, please, because obviously you put yourself in the shoes.
Oh yeah. Fuck. Imagine reading this letter.
Yeah, and probably the most famous part of that, at least to me, is and then I told one lie in April.
When she said that and you said that, I get chill bumps just thinking about that.
When you read the letter, you see that, because during the entire show, you just think it was happenstance, right?
Right.
That they Tsubaki just came in and was like, oh yeah, he whatever his name is, the dude who's very eccentric.
The best friend.
Yeah, the eccentric soccer player who's a
love animal.
We have what do you call guys who get all the girls? Just a stud.
a stud, right? A stud-lemon.
He just goes girl to girl to girl to girl, and he kind of has that thing with Kaori, who's just like, yeah, she's cool, whatever. It's not that really big of a deal. She's cute and all, but it doesn't seem like she's much cuter than any other girl that goes to their school.
Right.
But you see in the letter that, you know, she saw him play as a kid, and it was like, I don't want to play piano anymore. I want to play violin, so Kosei can play piano for me. And it was...
Oh, man, you got to stop this,
when
Jesus.
you think about it, this was a life journey. Quite literally was a life journey. And they got to play once, technically.
Yeah. And he struggled through it.
Yeah, and they started off kind of slow and then brought it back and...
Kicked it out of the park.
Yes. But when you see that, I mean, it was just her life's journey. She just wanted to get to him. And she told the lie in order to say, because she couldn't come straight up. Because mainly of Tsubaki. Because
she knew. Everyone knows that Tsubaki is head over heels for him.
Yeah.
And she knew that she was going to pass.
Yeah, the only two people that didn't know were them two.
Right.
Tsubaki
and she didn't want to ruin it for Tsubaki.
Yeah. And I guess the best way to do it was the letter. But it just, when they went to go see her in the hospital and everything, and they kind of had that, Kosei had that flashback to his mom, I was like, it's going to fucking happen again.
Oh, yeah.
What's going to happen? Like, he's gonna crash again.
He's going to get... That's what I was sitting there, that's what I was worried about. That's why I almost didn't finish it, because I didn't want to watch this person who had just finally found his thing. He was back, happy, back to him.
Yeah.
Just crash. Yeah. I can't just watch something end like that. No, I'm just going to go cry in my room for the next week and not talk to anyone.
I just sat there and I was like, this kid's going to go through so much again. And he says it later on. He was like, he does... It's... Because even Tsubaki has the same mentality towards music that Kosei does at the certain point where Kosei stops playing music, is that, you know, music just takes, in Tsubaki's point of view, music takes Kosei away.
And in his point of view, it takes people away from him.
Yeah, and so what Kaori does is open his eyes that, you know, music is what drives you. And you like you're a musician, you're a pianist. You have to play. You have to keep on playing.
Right.
You might play terribly. You know, it might not be the best situation.
But don't ever stop.
It might be for nobody, but you have to play, and that's it. And that's once his mom died, he had no reason to play, and now Kaori came in and gave him something.
Really taught him how to be a musician, because he was drilled so much on being perfect and just playing for his mother because she's making him. He didn't know what a real musician was, if you think about it. Because, I can't remember the other two character names, the pianist, the awesome pianist. Yeah. He never paid attention to him because he didn't care about being a musician. He was doing what his mother made him and trying to help heal her.
Yeah. He just wanted
and so now he's actually growing as a musician because of Kaori.
Yeah, it wasn't just the composers that had their piece in the music. It was... Kosei put himself in the music, and you could tell, even if you didn't know anything about music, the judges at these competitions clearly stated, like, yeah, that's not just Chopin anymore. Like, that's him. And because that's what Kaori had. Like, she just played. She played the way she wanted to.
In fact, the first piece we see her play, the judges flip.
Yeah,
because she's like playing it completely in quotations wrong from the actual piece, and she's just doing her. Yeah,
which at the beginning we think is just like, okay, she's just badass. She just does whatever she wants.
Right.
But then later we learn she's doing it because she's going to die.
She's going to die. She quit being scared of doing things. Yeah. She's doing everything in her way because she's going to die.
Yeah. She didn't have enough time left. And it was tough. Like, I can't even imagine being in a situation like that.
I don't want to.
No, it takes some kind of guts. And then the pic, I think I sent it to you, but it was basically the 4 frames on top of each other. Just like, she wanted to live, he wanted to die, and it said something with Kosei's face in there, and it was like, she died for him. And it was like, shit.
I remember you sent me that. You sent me that right after I finished it. Like, there was no halts on that. You were trying to chip me down.
Dude, like, hey, we both went through some tough stuff. Like, it was tough. Like, I told myself once I finished it, and I was like, I can't watch it again.
I'm going to go back.
Eventually, I'll probably get over it, but it's way too soft of a spot. Because when I think about it, it feels like it's been a month or two since I've watched it. It's been a week. It's been a week. This is terrible.
Oh, man.
I hate it so much. But okay, we pretty much covered it. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it.
We could ramble on for the next hour about this, to be honest.
We'll end up crying, and you don't want to listen to us cry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ugly cry, and I can ugly cry through a mic.
We'll move on to some jokey jokes, right? So SAO has made its valiant return into the anime space with an alternative story of Gun Gale Online. Now, to preface this...
Hot.
What?
Hot.
Hot.
Not hot. Ha.
Ha.
Like it's some great thing.
Okay.
We got rid of the characters. Like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Like, we're going from... I get with most people that it is... Oh, there's holes in the plot. It was good anime.
Yeah.
And they're going to get rid of all the fucking characters.
See, I like the first season. I've only watched the first season of it. And I even like the elf part. Now, it did take away from it. It did take away from it. The thing about what made SAO is because you could die in SAO.
Right.
You take away that, it doesn't matter anymore. Now, with Asuna being captured or whatever, that was another thing that he had to fight for. But you weren't going to die in the game.
Right.
Right? And he almost dies at the end of the first season or whatever because he got attacked by the guy who was trying to marry Asuna.
Right.
Later on. But having watched the first 2 episodes of the Gun Gale Online series of the mainline SAO, I was just dumbfounded. I was like, I don't know why we're even doing this. Like, this makes absolutely no sense.
You also haven't made it through the whole thing yet.
Yeah, that's.
And I'm not gonna say anything to spoil it for you.
Eventually, I'll make it through. But
for you people that haven't seen it, you're lucky.
See, that's what I've heard. It's either you like it or you don't like it.
Right.
And I was surprised that I liked SAO because I heard so much people talk like
Bash
that. It's trash. It's trash. And I guess that's what you get for being one of the top shows out there.
I was actually about to say that. Me and my friend Daniel, who's probably listening. What's up, Daniel?
Hi.
We were talking. I was like, I remember a time when SAO dropped out, and I was keeping up with the beginning of it. Everyone loved it. There was nobody bashing it. Yeah. But once it rose to being like top tier, everybody hated it.
Yeah.
They tried to pick it apart and eat it alive. I'm like, can you just not? Yeah.
There was one part that I want to bring up that I did because I like to go for the shows that I'm not deeply in love with, like Your Lie, I'm not going to watch. I watched like part of a review, but I'm not going to go hear somebody talk critical about it.
Right.
Because I'm going to sit there and like, no, it was good. There is nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to do that. There's no reason. So I went and watched a review of SAO, and the one thing that was brought up was, jog your memory going back to it, when they're still in SAO.
Right.
You have Yui, right?
Right.
The kid program. When he goes in and singles out one program from the entirety of this game and then puts it into an in-game item like that. It's like, do you really have this much power that you could do that in 25 seconds?
Yeah.
And bam, you have it. Just shut down the game.
I never put it that way. I never thought about it.
When I saw that, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just put the log out feature back in if you were this master coder that could break in and cut off a single program and put it into an in-game item and then keep it? I was like, that does kind of break it a little bit.
I actually never thought about that.
It was an intense scene, but when I went back and looked at it, I was like, okay, it was whatever. But it didn't bother me at all.
Right.
I was like, okay, yeah, it was a little outrageous, but, you know.
It's just to keep the character alive and kind of hold on to everybody's like, oh, they have a little daughter, yada, yada. Yeah. But
now with them just going fully into Gun Gale Online, they are hopping fully on the bandwagon of the Battle Royales that have come out over the past couple of years. You haven't watched the first episode. I've watched it. I've done the dirty work, right? You have no reason to watch this at all. I will let you know when I see some sort of character development at all. Now, this is the first episode or whatever. There's not going to be very much character development at all.
Right.
But the entirety of the episode is spent obviously in game, which SAO was anyway, right? The very first one you were in game. But they're just playing a battle royale. Just the two characters. I don't even remember the name, right? They're just playing. I think I'm pretty sure, they go by their gamer tags, but They have teams of 6 that they play in these battle, or you can have up to teams of 6. This is just a pair playing. And if you know about any battle royales, for the most part, they have this circle, then it gets increasingly smaller. This, they have like a detection scan that goes off every few minutes or so that shows the leader of the team, their position. And then you just kind of battle it out, whatever, until whoever's left. If I remember right, they end up winning against some of the like professionally trained soldiers.
Some like elite player,
Like these are 6 people, so they got the full 6.
Okay.
That are apparently they call them pros, so they're military.
Right.
And they use this for training.
Okay.
And so in that case, they're not going to use any special skills, right?
Right.
One of the main characters that I see right now, he's a sniper. Has a little bit more of an intelligence for the game than the little girl who's in there, she's full grown, but in the show she's just this little
fan service, basically.
Yeah, and like they rappel down these buildings, right? He's like, oh, it's the rappel skill, but they're doing it a lot faster than you normally would because it's tough if you just are green going into it. So like, okay, they're probably ex-military or they're military. But the little girl she's like a bunny, right? So she's super fast. Right. So like she darts. So they set up this plan to try to defeat the 4 guys who were on the ground. There's 2 spotters with a sniper. And they end up beating the 4 guys. And the 2 guys that are left, they're like, okay, well, that's not realistic. Her running around like that, because that's how she defeats them. She just goes boop, 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 and kills them all with her P90. And they're like, okay, this isn't realistic, so we're done. And they just log out and they just die or whatever.
Dang.
And then it just ends with her coming out, the girl who was playing in the game in real life coming out, and this group of kids were watching it happen. And they're like, oh my god, it was you who was happening. It was like, oh, you're making me blush or whatever. I'm not that good. And at the end, I was just like, so that's it. It's Battle Royale. I've played so many Battle Royale games. I don't want to watch a show about a Battle Royale. Okay? I've seen enough. Now, obviously, they're probably going to go into some stuff about Gun Gale Online that was fleshed out in the 2nd season of SAO that I don't know about. So maybe it could be a little bit more interesting than what it is. But
like, I want to watch it, but like, what you were telling me, if I don't really care about it. Yeah, like,
I'll watch it just because I've just been on a kick of just straight watching shows, and when I hop off that, then that'll be.
And with me, I mean, I was out of town, and we caught me up today for this podcast. And, I mean, probably for the next one, I'll watch it just so we can talk about it, just in case anyone listening, if there's any of you out there, just to talk about it if you want to hear us talk about it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it has potential, and there's a lot of hype coming into it, obviously, because it's SNL.
Well, I was super excited. Yeah. And then like you tell me this, and I was like, are you kidding me?
And even the guys that I hear, the YouTubers that I hear just trash SAO. They're like, this has potential, because, and his reasoning behind it was because it didn't have the main characters in it. Was because it was a totally different story than that.
Jesus.
Which I can't find a reason why, because I haven't watched it too. Oh, Jesus. Go back to the family back east.
The family back east.
Oh, Jesus. I haven't listened to Bill Burr in a while.
I me either.
But, yeah, it's definitely one we'll keep up to date. But the final one that I want to talk about that, I mean, technically you could talk about, but it's the Persona 5 animation. If you haven't played the game, go and play the game right now. I would not. Here's the thing: if you want, there's no reason for you to watch the animation over playing the game. There's just way too much content in it. The more than likely, because this is just the first episode. More than likely, the characters are way more fleshed out in the game because you have unlimited time to go and talk to them, find out these little Easter eggs or whatever. Definitely go and do that, and then come back to the show, and you'll see a ton of Easter eggs, right? There's probably, within the first 10 minutes of the episode, there's 5 or 6 Easter eggs that happen that send a message to the later part of the show that you see. A couple Easter eggs, like Rise from Persona 4 is in the screen in Shibuya. There's a little nod towards Akechi in the very beginning when Ren is in the subway. Ren, who is the name of the main character, because they had to give him a name in the show.
Right.
And then later on with Kawakami, the teacher that you first start out with, a flyer flies out of her. I don't know if she was holding anything, but it might have just fell out of her pocket or whatever.
Right.
That sends messages to her. That it foreshadows the later part of the game, which is funny. It's definitely a funny part. Whenever you get back on playing Persona 5, it's definitely a funny part of the show, and it opens up, obviously, a new avenue for it. But it's definitely going to be entertaining. But just the visuals of Persona 5, the music, obviously, like the theme for Persona 5 animation, I haven't been able to get out of my head at all. It's been annoying. I've been at work just da 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 da.
This comes from the same man who has the complete soundtrack on his phone that he listens to for the game.
It's way too addicting. And then,
it's some great music, especially coming from a musician. So.
And then we're having the Persona 5 Dancing Star Night, the rhythm game.
All right. That's a button smasher, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Pretty much it uses up, left, and down on one side, and then you have like X, square, and triangle for the other side. And it's just your basic rhythm game with the original soundtrack, and then it also has remixes for the soundtrack.
Okay.
And then you obviously have the characters dancing or playing. I think you can have like Ryuji playing drums, and then...
that actually sounds pretty cool, to be honest.
And it doesn't have a North American release date or even like them saying that it does.
But really, it's cross-patable because they don't really have region codes on anything.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And the gameplay they've shown some gameplay, obviously in the Japanese version.
Right.
There's a lot of it in English. Like when the actual gameplay's happening, a lot of it's in English.
Okay.
And there's not going to be much tutorial going on because... there's probably going to be tutorial, but it's a button smashing rhythm game. Right. There's not much to flesh out.
I mean, you can just grind out learning where to go. Yeah. It probably won't take long.
Yeah, like Cody, he imported Persona 4 Dancing Star Night, and he platinumed it. So it doesn't matter. I'm probably going to import the Dancing Star Night if they don't have... I'm not going to wait 6 to 8 months for it to come to North America. Like
that was like with PlayStation 3 with me with Initial D. I imported a few racing games because we just don't get them here.
Yeah, I hope they come out with the English edition. It might just be digital, but either way, Persona 5 definitely a show that you should watch after you play the game.
He cannot stress this enough.
If you don't have a PlayStation, and you just have no way of playing Persona 5. I mean, I guess you could go take out a loan and get a PS4 and then get Persona 5. But, I mean, fine. If you're that lazy that you don't want to grind through a 150-hour JRPG.
If you're that lazy. Man right here, if you're that lazy.
If you're not dedicated to the cause, yeah, sure. Go ahead, wussy out, watch the animation. Cool. Have fun with that.
But, I'm working through the game right now. He's forcing me at this point.
Yeah, like it took me a couple months to beat it because I was just off and on. But definitely it's holding true. Sojiro, he's a lot nicer in the anime.
Right.
He's not as much as a dick when you first come. He still says pretty much the same things, but since everything's voice acted and not just sipping through text for most of it, he doesn't come off as much as an asshole about you coming there. But he's definitely not happy that you're there at all.
No, in the game, it's just like...
Oh, yeah, he's just like...
You mess up one time, I'll just kick your ass. I don't care.
He's like, if you die, cool, whatever. You're not here. I don't even care. Your life is meaningless, pretty much. It's just like, dude, I don't know if that's just like Japanese translation or Japanese culture, but that's harsh, dude.
Harsh.
That's harsh. But all right. That was our script.
That's the script, yeah.
It's the scripted content, not real. All of that was written down, by the way.
Yeah, we got pages here.
All right, so we've been about an hour. That was a solid first episode.
Solid first episode, I think.
Trying to keep it weekly. Obviously, real life stuff's gonna come up, and might have to push it back. But hopefully, this goes out tomorrow. Tomorrow being Monday. On the brand new SoundCloud. Welcome to our SoundCloud. Follow it. I don't know all the things about SoundCloud, so do whatever you need to do to gain access to our stuff and get the notifications.
Right.
When we
please follow. Please.
Is it follow on SoundCloud?
I'm pretty sure you can follow.
Or is it like subscribe?
Is follow, subscribe, same thing.
Follow,
you guys get
subscribe, whatever. You can follow me on Instagram personally. We also have the No Waifu, No Laifu podcast Instagram that you made that we'll be posting on there.
We'll be posting.
My name on Instagram, slice_of_Josh. I've been posting probably too many anime clips on there, but you do what you can. It's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm going to post, so it doesn't matter. But
I'm probably going to use the No Waifu, No Laifu podcast to post my things. Cause
what was the tag again so they can go ahead and follow?
I want to say it was NWNL podcast.
So go and follow that. Now, we didn't write this down, but the show name wouldn't be the show name if we didn't do this segment. So we're going to kick it over to, ourselves, but we're going to slide on into the waifu of the week. And I think
both of us got the same one.
It's pretty, we're going to do 02 today?
Yeah, we're definitely doing 02. 02.
Especially after, there wasn't really a debate before, but there's definitely no debate now over it.
Yeah, with you, before this past couple episodes, you were like, I don't know, because she might do something crazy. But see, that's me. I like feisty bitches.
I like the whole licking your neck to taste your sweat to see what you taste like. That's cool. The horns, the fangs, everything, right? She's been a cool character, especially now that we had little baby 02 and the way that
so
she
adorable.
Acted.
Oh man,
just the cutest little devil you've ever seen in your entire life. But yeah, that's our waifu of the week. Again, go watch Darling in the Franxx if you have not watched it.
Please.
And if you have watched it, go and let us know. Send us a message anywhere.
Yeah.
I think you can comment on SoundCloud, right?
I'm pretty sure you can.
Okay, comment on SoundCloud. I'll probably upload this other places too. I might just put a flat backdrop and post it on YouTube or something like that. But we're going to be mainly doing SoundCloud. So go ahead and comment your favorite anime of the season for winter 2018 if you're keeping up. I know there's a lot of old school heads with your friends.
Right, definitely, yeah.
I don't know if they're keeping up with it because I'm just starting out straight up just watching the new stuff because things like One Piece, things like DBZ.
Jesus Christ.
I don't have enough time in the day. And then to also
and you don't have to. Yeah. And coming from who we are, I've been watching pretty much about to be 20 years. Mm-hmm. Josh has been watching a couple months.
I've been watching 20 days.
Oh, 20. You got it. You got it down to you got it down to a science.
It's whenever I watch, because the first one I watched was My Hero. And so that's probably when I'd start. But that was probably at the very end of the year, beginning of the year. And then probably over the last month and a half, 2 months is when I've gotten into the seasonal stuff and actually ventured out and finding my own things instead of taking recommendations for the most part. And a lot of stuff I like. I haven't really found any shows that I've disliked too much. Mainly I might be just being too picky of what I choose and reading into the reviews so much instead of trying it. But there's that 3 minute show, My Sweet Tyrant or something like that.
Yeah, that's what you showed me earlier.
Yeah, there's that I tried out that was kind of funny. It could be longer, but I'll probably talk about that next week. See how the next episode goes on that. There's a couple of shows that I want you to watch that we could probably talk about. The Tadakun Never Falls in Love, which I could probably just send a link for the Daily Motion video so we can, since I forget the streaming service that it was on, but it definitely wasn't on Crunchyroll. So that could be another show. There's just so much. That's what I found. There's so much crap to watch. Not crap is
not in a bad way, not negatively.
There's just so much stuff to watch. I kind of just scroll through my Crunchyroll list right now to kind of catch up on everything.
Right.
It's terrible.
You should see my mouth.
Dude, when I watched when I look at some people's mouth, I'm like, dude, so many, but that's just being years of just watching it. I probably have 17 completed right now, which I feel is like a good bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You haven't been watching very long.
Yeah.
You also binge like crazy. Yeah. I don't have the time to binge like you do, sadly.
There's A Place Further Than the Universe 1, right? You need to watch. Slice of Life, 4 cute girls, deep story arcs between all of them. You need to watch that. Violent Evergarden, you need to watch that.
All right.
I grinded that in a day. Basically in a day because I watched it one time at night and then woke up in the morning and watched the last 8 episodes.
Right.
Definitely another good episode that's like a slice of life fantasy, post-war, in kind of like a World War I setting. There's just way too much good stuff coming out.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. We're going to have a lot on our hands. And with like anyone that's listening, if you want us to watch one and cover it and talk about it, we'll gladly just, you can send us an email. I think it's nwnlpodcast@gmail.com, which I have that. And I did check the Instagram. It is nwnlpodcast, all lowercase. Mm-hmm. Same thing. You can contact us on there, contact us on our email.
If you're listening on SoundCloud, I'll post all the social media stuff in the information bio. Again, I haven't used SoundCloud in a while since I dropped the Fire mixtape 4 years ago.
Oh my god, that mixtape.
But yeah, I think that's going to be about it for us. Hopefully this becomes a little bit more structured as it goes on.
Right.
We're going to try to do this every week, like we said. Hopefully go up every single Monday. Not an exact time. It's not going to be like at 8 a.m. every morning.
Oh, no. We're not that precise.
Yeah, it'll be up some point on Monday. Because Monday right now is the only time I have class. But yeah, Ben, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
We're shaking hands right now.
Hands.
That's the first episode. Again, No Waifu, No Laifu podcast.
Episode 1. Been wanting to do this forever, too.
It's good. Got it out of the way. Now it's uphill from here. Or is it downhill?
I mean, you could say
it's downhill right now because we got the...
we could be riding the crescent of big anime titties.
Yeah. We'll get into that next week.
Yes, Calvin, we're going to get into it. I know you wanted me to do this.
We'll have a debate because I have a very differing opinion.
We talked about this in the first episode that we'll have to release that one day. Maybe if
I have it.
And on last thing, I know this episode, we're like going, hour and a half here?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're planning to do about an hour, but obviously with tonight, it's the first episode, a lot to talk about.
Yep.
The next ones will have more of a structure. Mm-hmm. Only one episode to talk about, not whole series.
Yeah, it'll be a lot. See, that's the thing. It'll be a lot easier to flesh out one full episode. But yeah, they'll probably be a little bit shorter just because we will only be talking about one episode each. That means we'll just have to find more shows to watch.
Oh, yeah. We'll definitely do that.
Okay.
Definitely bring up some old ones.
For sure. Flashback Friday. Throwback Thursday. Have it for the entire day of the week. Way back Wednesday.
Do you want Tuesday?
Too late Tuesday.
That works.
Mega way back Monday. Just throw something in the past tense for every day of the week. So far back Sunday. I'm done. All right.
Stupid behind Saturdays.
All right. So this has been episode 1, the No Waifu, No Laifu podcast. My name is Josh.
And this is Ben.
And we will see you guys next time.